Hey, welcome back. I'm Ferrikster. Here to bring you some more Pokemon Go Battle League battles, finally, after taking like a week off. I'm sorry, it was Go Fest. It was a busy time. Especially day 2, where they gave you 10 free raid passes and you had to actually walk around to use them. Yeah, I'm not used to that anymore. I feel like 2 years ago, we all would have been able to go out and yeah, free raid passes. This is fine. But now that remote passes are a thing, I think we've just gotten understandably lazy about it. So, yeah, definitely, was out running. My motorcycle battery died after the first, half hour. And, yeah, so I was on foot, and that was an experience. It's an experience I haven't had in a while. But, yeah, nice Go Fest. I finally got my Hundo Dialga. So, maybe eventually, a year from now, or whenever they bring Dialga back for a long enough time that I get enough XL candy, maybe I'll actually be able to do, regular Master League level 50. Who knows? We'll see. I'm very excited about that. That was easily the best thing I got. Definitely worth the $5 just for the Hundo Dialga, because I've done 10 lucky trades and 38 raids before I finally got it. I'm sure there's going to be someone in the comments who's done 200 raids and doesn't have it, and 40 lucky trades. I'm sorry. But 10 for me is a lot. That's more than any other Pokemon by a bit. And Dialga was always the thing that I was asking for, that people were always out of because everyone else had got to it first. But yeah, so GoFest is nice, and I'm back. I was streaming continuously last week, or not continuously last week, but I adhered to my normal stream schedule, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 9-ish p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So yeah, if I ever seem to go dark on YouTube for a bit, rest assured, I'm most likely still streaming, doing stuff. Just, yeah, I don't know. I had used the same team. I wasn't feeling super creative, and I didn't make any modifications to it. And then I played during GoFest also, which lost me a ton of points from lag. 3 days ago, whenever that was, my gosh, the lag was horrendous. Pokemon would just stand there for 5 seconds, getting punched in the face and doing nothing to respond. It was rough. But, yeah, I made a amendment, I guess, to my team. I moved Escavalier to the back, kept Frostlass back there because I think Frostlass is a super strong closer in this meta. And I'm leading Whiscash now. I only started doing this earlier today. By the time this video probably gets uploaded, it'll be yesterday. I started using this team, and these are my first games with it, and it was serving me really well. So let's commentate. My opponent had their backline as Shadow Dragonite and Shadow Nidoqueen, which is pretty weak to Frostlass, so I kind of have this match out of just team comp. The way my team functions is, yeah, you know what? It still functions like a pretty balanced team. You could look at it and be like, well, if you switch in Frostlass or switch in Escavalier, you can bait out the fire type and then pummel it with Whiscash. But fire is not really that common, and when I was seeing it, it was in the lead. The other day, I encountered this Shadow Mawile in the lead, and it just steamrolled my past team, leading Escavalier with Frostlass and Golbat in the back. Golbat can obviously hang with Shadow Mawile, and I made the game close anyway, but you can't switch to Shadow Golbat or they'll switch out and you'll be left with no answer. So just because fire is starting to exist and becoming a little more common as the days wear on, I felt it was necessary to change the team and put a hard response to it, and I stuck Whiscash in the front. So Jellicent is fine, actually. Jellicent has a positive-ish matchup against all 3 of my Pokemon, especially Escavalier. But, if you're just careful to manage your energy a little bit, then it's fine. My opponent switches out to a Wigglytuff, which kind of tells me this is probably, Jellicent Double Fairy or something, because otherwise they wouldn't switch out of Whiscash because Jellicent could just stay in and beat Whiscash. Was able to farm Wigglytuff the whole way down after landing 1 Drill Run with my Escavalier. So I am going to throw this Drill Run. I get a shield, which is fantastic. And I'm just going to race to my next Drill Run. Not going to shield anything. If they throw a Bubble Beam here, I'll get to land the Drill Run, which is fine, and that's what they do. So barely able to make it here. I'll go down after one more Hex. Single debuff Drill Run still does something, and my opponent's down a shield and doesn't really have too much energy on their Jellicent either. So I'm just going to throw this Mud Bomb before they get to a Bubble Beam. Don't want to get debuffed, and Clefable comes out, so that's fine. Was in fact Jellicent Double Fairy. So I'm just going to land this Mud Bomb. And if they had shielded, I would have switched out because they stayed in. I built up to another Mud Bomb. I could have just thrown it before switching out, but for whatever reason, I didn't. And yeah, I'm just going to throw my first Avalanche. Even if they shielded this and I didn't get to a second Avalanche somehow, then Whiscash's Mud Bomb still would have been enough after the additional Powder Snows. So I was fine there. And yeah, managed a 2-shield flex. All right, so next up, against 3877 Rudo. Whiscash into Dragalge. So this is a pretty good matchup for Whiscash. They're staying in right now, and that's unusual, so I was being careful not to throw because I figured they were going to try to make a catch, because, I mean, you really can't stay in with Dragalge against Whiscash. Whenever your opponent's in a really bad matchup, don't throw your energy right away. Just save it up, because they're probably going to try to make a catch or something. I bring out my Frostlass into this Mandibuzz, and as long as you're quick about it, Frostlass has a pretty strong matchup here. If they were running Air Slash, it would be a lot better, because that just makes Mandibuzz that much slower to get to its charge moves. But I'm still going to be able to reach this last Avalanche, and they're probably going to shield here, and that's fine. Wait, are they out of shields? No, they still have one. Yeah, they let it go down. They could have forced themselves into switch advantage, but opted not to. Thankfully, my Frostlass is really, really low, and my Whiscash still has plenty of energy. So bring in Whiscash. They're only at an Aqua Tail. I don't have to shield this. Hits for neutral and does not that much because Whiscash is really, really thick. It's nice having a bulky Pokemon on the team again. It's been a while since I actually ran something that was just really bulky. I tend to avoid really bulky Pokemon for the most part, just because they don't hit that hard. So, like, you know, you can make a catch here or there, but managing your energy is a little bit less important when you're using just like a triple super bulky team. I switch in my Escavalier. I was trying to catch an Avalanche. Didn't happen. I'm going to no-shield anyway. They land the Shadow Ball. That's fine. And I lag here, and that's great, I guess. So I'm going to throw this Drill Run here. And if they shield, they might have been able... Oh, wait, they're out of shields. Never mind. They couldn't have shielded if they wanted to. Dragalge comes out. I've got my Whiscash. Could survive a move, and I still have a shield, and their energy drained. And yeah, that's a GG. All right, next up against Professor Slade. Whiscash into Obstagoon. Obstagoon is still a very, very popular lead. It was one of the things that made it really, really fun to run Escavalier. Just since Obstagoon is the most popular lead, I like to think that running Obstagoon is a little bit less creative. So it's always nice to be able to punish that. Kind of like opening Galv or something that's just anti-Azumarill in Open Great League. So the way I like to play this matchup out is just throwing the Blizzard, trying not to let them sneak in a counter, but even if they do, you'll still be able to outpace them to the Mud Bomb. So no shield this Night Slash, no boost, and they switch out into Golbat, so I'm a little slow to the swap, which is not great. If I was faster to the swap, I'd be able to get to the Avalanche before they could possibly throw a Shadow Ball. Here I end up having to shield, and it's just a Poison Fang, and that's not great. But, all right, I'm going to throw this Avalanche. And I'm doing decent damage with my Powder Snows. I should really shield here in case it's a Shadow Ball, but I don't, and I correctly call a bait. It is a Poison Fang. Still getting to their next Poison Fang before I threw my Avalanche. Really should have thrown that right away. And I go down. So this is tough because it's very hard to counter down a Golbat. I could throw the Drill Run and take him out, but because he's throwing right away, and this is therefore definitely a Poison Fang, it means I can build up more energy. So I'm just going to continue to do that. If they throw, then it'll just be another Poison Fang. I can no-shield this also, and I'm just going to have to farm the whole way down. At this point, I'm so weakened that I switch out to Whiscash because I was going to try to Mud Shot down the Golbat instead, which is actually kind of sensible because Golbat double resists counter and only single resists ground. But that's all right. Bring a Escavalier out. I get the last shield. Throw one counter, and I'm able to get to my next drill run. Hopefully this KOs a Shadow XL Grimer, and it does, and I'm able to counter down Golbat. Managed to take that game. Only really was able to win that because of the way they were throwing their energy with Golbat. Like, if they had just charged up to the Shadow Ball, like, maybe I could have thrown a drill run and taken them out, but, you know, they still had a shield. They would have been able to, if they were able to force the shield out of me and then land the Shadow Ball, that would have been enough. Or just if they didn't let me counter their Golbat the whole way down. But all right, up against 20 Xeno. Whiscash into Beedrill. This is a pretty good matchup for Whiscash. Also, they switch out right away to Dugong, and I'm a little slow to the swap, but that doesn't really matter. Dugong can't really hurt Escavalier that much. Definitely a no shield here. Even if it's a Water Pulse, it won't be enough to, like... Well, it'll put me in, like, additional Water Pulse range, but it's not like he can throw an Icy Wind and KO me like that here. So, opts to shield a Drill Run, and that is fine for me. Reach my next Drill Run before they're able to get to their second Water Pulse, which is what they would need. Get the second shield, and I'm able to sneak in a counter. So I can shield here. It's probably going to be an Icy Wind, but at this health range, I would need to shield that anyway, and I'm able to counter the whole way down. So I have some energy, and my opponent is out of shields. I greedily tried to go for the Mega Horn and got KO'd before I made it, so I didn't end up throwing anything. Throwing the Drill Run would have been a lot better than throwing nothing. But that's all right. I can survive this Weather Ball just fine. It does that. Gonna build up to and throw my Shadow Ball. They make an amazing catch on their Beedrill, and that's okay also. I'm gonna build up some more energy before I switch out. Try to switch out and catch the X-Scissor. Beedrill did not throw that, but that's fine. I don't have to shield this either. Whiscash can eat that Drill Run, no problem, and I'm able to Mud Shot this Beedrill the rest of the way down. Now I have 2 Mud Bombs ready. Just going to throw those both. First one lands. Second one, and they don't even manage to sneak in a Water Gun, which is great. And now I just need to get to my next one, and Whiscash outpaces Cast Form. Cast Form, for what it's worth, gets to the Weather Ball in about 5.5 Mud Shots. I decided to no-shield that also just to confirm that that is in fact how much it does. I was pretty sure I would survive that, but wanted to see anyway, and managed to take Cast Form down. GG. Cast Form also, Rainy Cast Form, has been gaining popularity, and that was also kind of rough for my last team. I didn't have an amazing answer for that. Whiscash isn't a hard counter, but it's pretty good. So my opponent here switched out instantly of a positive matchup into Dugong, which also is fine against Whiscash, but like I was really confused when they switched out like that. That made me kind of feel like this is probably an ABB team, or they're switching in Dugong to try to bait out a fighter. That ended up not happening, so I still have a Escavalier in the back, but I really would have preferred to get a Escavalier on here. But that's all right. I'm just going to throw this next Shadow Ball. I don't imagine they'll shield this because at this point I'm debuffed, and it really shows Dugong is pretty tanky. Reach my next Shadow Ball. I'm going to throw this also. Also going to land, and yeah, they actually actively switch out to their Golbat, and I'm not able to reach my next Avalanche, so that's unfortunate, and now this Golbat has energy, so that's also pretty bad. So I'm going to bring Whiscash out, and this could be the Shadow Ball, but I'm going to no-shield anyway, and it's the Poison Fang. So now I've been debuffed. I'm going to build it to the Blizzard and throw my Mud Bomb. I'm going to shield here because if this is the Shadow Ball, I think it'll probably KO Whiscash from a Shadow Golbat. Shadow Golbat doesn't hit that hard, but I mean, you know, Whiscash isn't like a Bastiodon or something. And yeah, managed to get a shield, and now I'm throwing the Blizzard literally as soon as I have it. If my opponent had switched out and made a catch, that would have been pretty bad for me, but managed to take Golbat down, which is great because Escavalier has no real great way of taking out Golbat either. Switches in their Dugong, and they're throwing right away. I'm going to no-shield this. It's definitely going to be an Icy Wind. I'm going to try to counter the rest of the way down. They switch out into their Diggersby, so that's fine. I'm going to throw this Drill Run, CMP tying them. Well, if they were throwing right away, and they were, so I'm going to have to let this go because they'll outpace me. It's only 5 Mud Shots to the first Fire Punch and 4 to the second. And yeah, here after 4 mud shots, they are throwing their next fire punch right away. And I'm not going to shield it because it does next to nothing to Whiscash. Whiscash is pretty thick and my resistance there. So I reach this Blizzard at the same time that they reach their next fire punch. And honestly, I should have built up a little bit more energy first and like used a shield if they were going to reach it. Would have been able to reach this Mud Bomb a little bit safer, but still managed to get there, no problem, and managed to take that out and still have a shield. That's a GG. All right, next up, Whiscash into Beedrill again. So, great matchup for Whiscash. They switch out into Obstagoon, and I am a little bit slow to the swap to get a Scavalier out. If you're really fast to the swap, and you're able to sneak in a counter, Obstagoon doesn't get to a second move. Here, I was just a little bit shy. Actually, he threw one extra counter even before throwing, so I would have had to switch in, like, instantly, like really, really fast. You have to get a Scavalier in there really fast to take Obstagoon out without burning a shield. What I should have done is just thrown a drill run to at least force a shield out of him if he wanted to get to his second move that way. You know, we could exchange shields or, you know, not, but I wouldn't have had to go down a shield. Thankfully, Whiscash comes back out, or Whiscash comes out and is not, doesn't shield the Mega Horn, which does fantastic damage, shields the drill run. And I have gotten this Whiscash really, really low with this Scav. So at this point, I probably should have just sent out Frostlass instead. I'm going to shield here because it could be the Blizzard, and it is a Mud Bomb bait, but that is fine. Beedrill comes back out, and Beedrill doesn't have an amazing matchup against Whiscash either. Going to throw this Mud Bomb. It hits for that much. And throw the second Mud Bomb literally as soon as I've got it. I get the last shield. So at this point, I'm going to wait a little bit and absorb some of this energy on Whiscash before I switch out to Frostlass. It's a drill run, and I decided to, you know what, just stay in and just throw the Mud Bomb because I was like already there, and I feel like the Mud Bomb would be almost enough. He's pretty close to the next drill run, so I switch out to Frostlass to Powder Snow down because Powder Snow takes him out a little bit faster than Mud Shot, and I managed to take that game. GG. All right, next up against Zygomatic. Whiscash into Obstagoon. Very popular lead, pretty okay-ish matchup for Whiscash. I go straight Blizzard. No Obstagoon has yet shielded the Blizzard. I'm not sure if they would, even if they knew it was a Blizzard, because, you know, not sure if you want to go down a shield with Obstagoon because, you know, something could come out like either a Charmer or a fighter, and it really would wall. So I can understand not wanting to shield Obstagoon and just opting to just slightly lose switch advantage and manage to get a little bit of farm instead. That's probably the right play. I throw this Mud Bomb here right before he gets to his next charge move, and they no-shield that also, let themselves go down. Could easily shield and farm me down. I guess it's probably just not the right move. And a Drifblim comes out, so I'm a little bit slow to get Frostlass out. And maybe not even the best thing to send. I figured they would probably bait me, and they didn't. They just went straight Shadow Ball. So now I'm kind of dead. A Scavalier cannot beat Drifblim, not even from that health range. Gonna go straight Mega Horn, and yeah, gonna no-shield this, assuming maybe this would be the Icy Wind, but it's also just a Shadow Ball, so I basically just die. I don't know. I was on an 8-game winning streak, but yeah, then someone showed up with a Drifblim, and I was just like, all right, guess I'll die. So yeah, that was rough. Drifblim is kind of difficult. All right, so my opponent switches into a Machamp, which caught me off guard. I'm a little slow to get Frostlass in. Gonna shield this first move, and it is a cross chop bait. That is unpleasant. Gonna throw this Avalanche, being very careful not to let them sneak in an extra counter, because that makes this honestly a lot worse. It's already not great. And yeah, at this point, I'm gonna no-shield this, because if it's the Rock Slide, the Machamp is in like closer to being in farm down range for a Scavalier. And yeah, good no-shield, and now he is forced to throw his next cross chop, so he's gonna be energy drained, and I'm gonna be able to come out at this health range and be able to farm down with this Scavalier right before he's able to get to his next cross chop. Faints right there when he gets the energy for it, so that's fantastic. And yeah, Frostlass comes out, so this is fine. I'm just going to throw this Drill Run. Does about half. And my resisted counters are, resisted, but they're still doing decent chip damage. And now this Frostlass is in Mud Bomb range. So I catch the Avalanche on my Whiscash, assuming I would need my Escavalier. And yeah, there's a Lickitung back there. I haven't seen one of these in a while. I'm not sure why it's more popular. Or why it isn't more popular. Lickitung is pretty good, even in Open Great League. I'm not sure why. Yeah, not sure why I'm not seeing so many. I don't have one. That's why I'm not using it. So I probably should have built up to the Blizzard to at least kind of pressure a shield out of him before I threw that Mud Bomb. Get taken out, and at this point I have to count it the whole way down, and I really should have shielded this Body Slam. Knew it was a Body Slam. I just thought it would do slightly less than that because I didn't think Lickitung would hit that hard because it's so tanky. But yeah, kind of botched that game, actually. If I had just shielded the Body Slam, could have just counted the whole way down and been able to outpace Frostlass to the second drill run. So yeah, I don't know what I was thinking there when I no-shielded that. I think I was imagining Frostlass had more energy, but rewatching it, I can see that Frostlass was literally energy drained because I switched out to make a catch. So yeah, I don't know what I was thinking there. Definitely could have won that matchup if I just shielded the Body Slam. Just thought it would do less. I don't know. Like I said, haven't seen a Lickitung in a while. But all right, Whiscash into Jellicent again. So Jellicent, obviously really strong again, well, not really strong, but pretty strong against the Escavalier. I encountered it plenty in the lead when I was leading Escavalier, and I just stayed in and double shielded. And so did they, and they ended up pretty low in farm down range for my Golbat. But yeah, with Whiscash, it's a lot better. It just goes straight Mud Bomb and no shield. The only way this matchup really becomes bad is if I shielded a Bubble Beam. Like, if they land a Shadow Ball, fine. If they land the Bubble Beam, fine. Shielding a Shadow Ball, great. But shielding the Bubble Beam is just bad. So I'm just no-shielding, not really to try to go for the best possible outcome, but just because as long as I no-shield, I'm avoiding the worst possible outcome. And that's more to the way that I, like to play this matchup out. So, unfortunately, I go down right as I'm reaching my Mud Bomb, which meant I could have won switch here, but instead, I'm just going to get some nice farm on my Escavalier, which is also fine. I have to take this Bubble Beam, which is no big deal, and my opponent actively swaps out into Mandibuzz, and the Mandibuzz is running Air Slash, so that's why I'm a little slow to switch Frostlass in. If they had been running Snarl, I would have stayed in. Because it's Air Slash, as long as I get Frostlass out kind of quickly and don't let them sneak in too many moves, I let them sneak in one there. It is 5 Air Slashes to the foul play. And in that time, Frostlass can throw, 7.5 Powder Snows. So as long as Frostlass gets in kind of quickly, I'm able to get that second Avalanche off before they're able to get to their second foul play. So I can just follow their lead. If they shield, I shield. And here, when they're throwing their fourth one, I just have to throw my Avalanche here. I decide to throw it in the middle so that they can't switch out to catch anything. But I don't know if switch timer was up anyway. Actually, you know what? It is. I can see right now that it was. So yeah, good move past Ferrikster on doing that. They switch in their Jellicent and hex me down. I was trying to switch out but didn't quite make it in time. So that's unfortunate. Wiggly also manages to sneak in a Charm. I don't know if it's a server issue, but it's definitely been a little bit harder lately to fast move deny properly. But still able to reach this next drill run before Wiggly is able to reach a charge move, and I am able to take him out and take that game. GG. Just gonna sip my orange juice. That's not orange, that's apple. Sip my apple juice. And yeah, go into this next match. Whiscash into another Jellicent. So playing this out the same way as before, they sneak in a Hex, which is not great, but again, like I said, it's been harder to prevent fast move sneak lately. So maybe, at least for now, until their servers speed up a little, maybe I'll switch over to just doing optimal fast move timing and not try to do fast move denial. Just trying to minimize the turns they get while not giving them the possibility of getting a full free move. It's not really the way I like to play the game out, but that might be the path for now. So I decided to actually shield this Shadow Ball for once, which is unusual for me, and I'm going to undercharge this Mud Bomb because that was a CMP type, and I want to be able to get in like at least 2 or 3 mud shots. Would have preferred to undercharge a little bit more. Really Tough comes out, and it's fine. I'm just going to throw this Mud Bomb, and I'm going to stay in and let them charm me down so that I can get a Scavalier out there. bring a Scav out, and we're going to see what they want to do. So I was assuming that this was the same team as last team because it looks exactly the same as the last team, which would mean there's a Mandibuzz in the back. So going to no shield here, and it is a play rough. And I switch out to Frostlass to try to get a jump on energy, and it is not a Mandibuzz, it's a Beedrill. So that is a terrible read by me, and have definitely not done myself any favors here. So just going to throw this Avalanche. I'm just trying to be careful not to let them sneak in a move. And I am going to shield here, and it is the Drill Run. If that was a bait, this would have been a lot worse for me. I'm going to throw this Avalanche. They sneak in a Poison Jab. That's not great. Get the last shield. And they are throwing this as soon as they have it. Like, they could definitely have charged up a little bit more. They land that Drill Run. And I can't throw my next Drill Run yet because I need to wait till I'm at back-to-back, and I make it here, so I'm just going to throw this Drill Run, take out the Beedrill, and I've got the next one loaded because I wouldn't be able to throw one counter in the middle. And yeah, managed to take out this Wigglytuff with a tiny, tiny sliver of health. I could have... That could have been a lot easier. That didn't have to be that way. I made a really bad read about what the team was going to be. I just assumed it was going to be the same team that I just saw in the last game. But all right. Ninetales in the lead. This is why I'm leading Whiscash right now and why I stopped running a Scavalier. So they switch in Wigglytuff, which is fine for me. I'm going to bring a Scavalier out, and yeah, just going to reach this Drill Run. They didn't manage to sneak in a Charm this time, so that is amazing. And I get a Shield, which is different. I sneak in a counter, which is also great. I'm going to shield here since they shielded. It is an Ice Beam. And I'm just going to throw this Drill Run at the last second. I'm so close to being able to get to another one, but I'm actually just like one energy away. If I was able to get one more counter in, I'd be able to make it, but as it is, just barely not able to get there. And here I was like not too sure what to bring in. Like, I've lost switch advantage, and I decided to just bring in Whiscash. In retrospect, it probably would have made more sense to bring in Frostlass. Frostlass hits a little bit harder, so the energy on Frostlass would have been a little more valuable. Probably would have gotten like 4 or 5 powder, probably would have gotten 4 Powder Snows there. Land this Mud Bomb. Thankfully, it's just a Cast Form Water, a Rainy Cast Form, which is not that bad for Whiscash, especially since I have an energy lead. I'm going to shield that Weather Ball, because it is going to hurt more than the Weather Ball from Ninetales. And I throw one extra Mud Shot before I have to throw this Mud Bomb. I can't build up any more energy than that because they'll get to another Weather Ball. And they just barely survived and switched out at the last second to bring in their Ninetales, so that's fine with me. I'm going to throw this Mud Bomb. It does that much, and I'm going to end up having to take this hit. So I didn't see myself sneaking a move here, but I actually did. There was an invisible fast move sneak that I didn't see. Normally, you don't see it when you're on the receiving end. This time I didn't see it when I was on the giving end. So if I had seen it, if the game hadn't not shown me that, I would have been able to just under-tap and throw this Mud Bomb and easily take this game. Instead, I throw my Mud Bomb here, and we end up with a simultaneous KO, which is not horrific, but that could have been a win if I just hadn't if my fast move sneak hadn't been invisible. But that's all right. It is what it is, because that statement is a tautology, so it's literally always true. All right, so Primeape in the lead. Primeape is it's actually not that unusual of a lead, I guess. I've seen kind of a few of them. I'm going to no shield here because I wasn't too worried about getting hit with anything hard, and it was actually a close combat, which is hilarious. I literally forgot that Primeape could even learn that because I don't know, just haven't been hit with that yet. So Empoleon comes out and waterfalls me down, and that's fine. I'm going to bring a Scavalier out. And yeah, just try to counter the whole way down. I'm going to have to shield once, and after this I'll be able to counter down. We'll see what they have in the back. Never mind, they switch in. And it is a Ninetales, so that is, yeah, that's pretty bad. It's pretty bad for my backline. I probably should have just stayed in with a Scavalier a little bit longer, thrown one more counter, and thrown the Drill Run to force the last shield out. And I also really should have built up to the Shadow Ball before throwing an Avalanche. But even that, honestly, is hardly necessary. Gonna throw this Avalanche here as soon as I have it. Yeah, get a shield, no kidding. And yeah, go down. And now I'm just going to leave because they have a weather ball loaded, and that's all it's going to take out a Scavalier. Honestly, I was probably doomed there at that point. That's just team comp wise, not a lot I could have done. Anything I would have switched out into would have been hard countered also. So just, yeah. But all right, that's fine. That's going to happen occasionally. I switched my Escavalier in, and they switch into a Ninetales, and they no shield, which is actually great. So if I shield this, I could counter down and win switch advantage, but I decided to just let it go and bring Whiscash out since I don't have a super hard answer to Mandibuzz anyway. I figured it would be better to just save my shields for later. And this Mandibuzz is an Air/Mandibuzz, so this is not really that bad for Frostlass anyway. I'm going to throw this Blizzard, so at least I get a shield or do a pretty decent chunk of damage. I get the shield there, and I'm going to no-shield this. Take that Foul Play, and now switch out to my Frostlass since they have thrown their energy. They're reaching another Foul Play here. I'm going to shield it. After all, I am up a shield, and they switch out to their own Whiscash, so that's fine. I'm going to throw this Avalanche. Double Avalanche will take Whiscash out, and I'm definitely not in Mud Bomb range. 2 Mud Bombs would do it after I already take the damage from the Mud Shots. I CMP tie them here, throwing this Avalanche with their Mud Bomb, so they don't manage to sneak in an extra Mud Shot, but they are going to outpace me. They're going to get to their next Mud Bomb before I'm able to get to my next Avalanche. So, gonna shield this, because can't lose my Frostlass at this time. And I'm gonna build up some energy, and I should have just thrown the Avalanche here, but for whatever reason, I decide to switch out and catch on Whiscash, which is definitely a mistake, leaving myself open here. And I should also throw this Mud Bomb to take this Whiscash out, because now the Whiscash charges up to a Mud Bomb and then ducks out. So now I am in farm down range for this Mandibuzz. I have completely botched the execution here. I'm trying to reach my next Mud Bomb because I'm definitely not going to reach another Blizzard. Throw this Mud Bomb, and it does not enough because Mandibuzz is really tanky and has immunity to resistance. So I'm forced to throw this Avalanche as soon as I come out with my Frostlass because this Mandibuzz has a move. And now I'm going to go down because, yeah, it didn't throw a Mud Bomb and take out Whiscash. I let them charge up their Whiscash. I did not manage my and my opponent's energy that well in this game. And yeah, ended up paying the ultimate price for that, going down. But yeah, good game by my opponent. That is a 2.5 set, so I go up by like 10 points, which is fine. I continued to play that team for the rest of the day. I had 2 more positive sets, ended up at 31, 30 something, I think. Something like that. I don't remember now. Nothing too impressive. It's in like the 300s or so on the leaderboard. Definitely going to try to continue playing this team, or if it stops working for me, maybe I'll experiment with other teams. Going to try to climb up a little bit higher. Try to at least get onto the first page during Remix Cup. That would be nice. And yeah, I don't know. Nice to see you again. Sorry I didn't make a video for 7 days. It was just, I don't know, GoFest left me super wiped out. But yeah. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to do the things that you know you're supposed to do at the ends of videos. Sorry I'm babbling at the end of this also. I'll see you guys on the next one.